Okay, I'm still sat talking via Skype to Knut Myrva in Bergen in Norway, and I'm improving on saying his name every time, so by the time we finish it'll be just about right. And I've been talking to you about spirituality and about lots of issues and problems studying it. One issue that might be worth noting is that it isn't used the same way in every discipline. So it's used differently in different academic settings?
Yeah, I haven't studied this that much, but reading different disciplines like psychology and sociology and the study of religion and stuff like that, you notice that the conceptualization of spirituality is slightly different, which probably follows the nature of the discipline and their focus, right? So in psychology, spirituality is often conceptualized as sort of a part of the human psyche, or almost like an organ that can be or affect health or not affect health and stuff like that. If you go to sociology or sociology of religion, spirituality is often used to denote a new historical era where religion or religious institutions has lost their power, and this has created an existential void which is filled with various practices which can be termed as spiritual. Yeah.
So you find it a difference, and that first use you talked about in psychology, I think you notice that not just in the psychology aspects of medicine, but in health studies or the health field generally.
Absolutely.
You've seen that more and more, I think.
There is a strong discourse that argues that we have to recognize the human body as not only physical but also spiritual. So within nursing studies and stuff like that, you have this notion of holistic treatment, which can be or can be not be confused with alternative medicine. But
yeah, the word holistic there is a bit of a dangerous word to use because it's so confusing. I guess so. In discussions of well-being and health, you might find spiritual. The other place I've seen it recently is in the world of education.
Yeah.
So educating the whole person, this holistic.
And workplace studies. It has become a spirituality in the workplace, which sort of echoes, is it Opus Dei spirituality, I think? The Catholic doctrine of being, always being sort of trying to get close to God through work.
Well, yes, I'm sure they love that at work.
So there is these associations and stuff like that, which probably will annoy some people, but yeah.
But sure, always somewhere. But yeah, I think the idea of workplace spirituality is again the idea of it's an implicit claim, or you might argue, I might argue, that it's an implicit assertion that the person, what a person is, has something which exceeds the physical, but maybe the psychological as well. There's a kind of grey area about whether spirituality is entirely captured by what we would call psychological aspects of a person, or whether it's something that overspills or overbrims out of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's sort of an attempt to. It's sort of a critique against seeing persons as just fulfilling a function in the workplace, or it's sort of a shift to the experiential and yeah, as you say, seeing a human as something more than just a dimension of physical of a body or a function. Yeah.
So I guess it has appeal because it's an anti-instrumentalist way of viewing people. People aren't just cogs in a big machine, but then you get the danger, because the term is so woolly, so vague, so stretchy, the danger that people bring it in to mean one thing, i.e. just that people aren't just cogs in a machine, but then you end up people interpreting it in whatever way suits them, which may be in the spiritual is so associated with the religious. Some may interpret that as me it relating to some metaphysical part of them that they don't believe exists. So it's potentially opens up an area of controversy and difficulty for people because of that stretchy, elastic nature of the term.
Yeah, I usually read it with a bit of cynicism, right? But to be the spiritual advocate, I think it also serves a purpose of enabling us to talk about things that we usually not allow ourselves to talk about, sort of the existential, that which cannot be clearly defined, sort of these feelings that we struggle to sort of describe. So I can see that the term has a constructive function in not being easy to define, in
So
being
there's
vague.
kind of the utility in that elasticity, I guess. I guess existential is a good word for it, because the feelings, although some people may call them spiritual or not, and that's part of the issue, they are about things like finitude, mortality, connectedness, those things which some people who've wasted their lives studying philosophy would call existential, but people, I think, beyond that realm haven't got a vocabulary.
Exactly.
So spiritual fills that gap, I guess, in terms of having a way to refer to how you have those conversations about finitude and mortality and that aspect of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.